One of the things I hear the most from sourdough folks is, my sourdough starter died, I have to make a new one. And if you have said that, or if you've opened your fridge and you thought, oh man, my starter's dead, I have really good news for you. There is a 99% chance it is not dead and can really easily be revived, and I'm gonna show you how. Before we get going, I want to share with you a few signs for you to look for to determine whether or not your sourdough starter is salvageable. So if you look at your starter and you see anything pink growing, fuzzy, a rotten or a putrid smell, just go ahead and pitch it. It's not super common, but a sourdough starter can get moldy. And if it's moldy, it's just not worth the hassle, and it's also just not worth the risk of dealing with it. However, if you look at your sourdough starter and you see a thick layer of gray liquid, if it looks like it has separated where there's like a lot of starter on the bottom and liquid on top, or if it has a mildly acidic smell, almost like nail polish remover, that is totally fine and worth saving. So this is a sourdough starter that has been unfed in my fridge for about 2 months. And you can see here, if I can get you a better look, that there is this thick layer of gray liquid on top, but there's no mold, mildew, or anything funky in it. And it doesn't really smell bad. It definitely smells sour, but it doesn't smell bad at all. So this is a really good example of a starter that can be revived. So to revive this starter, the first thing I'm going to do is pour off the gray liquid. That gray liquid is called hooch, and it's a byproduct of the yeast and bacteria that are in your starter. When you see that gray liquid starting to develop, it simply just means that your starter is hungry, it's not dead. Now there's some mixed opinions about whether or not you should stir the hooch back into your starter. I never do, I pour it out. Some people stir it in. Honestly, it doesn't really matter either way. It's going to be fine. But that hooch is pretty acidic, so I just like to pour it off. But whatever you wanna do is totally fine, but I'm going to pour it out. Your sourdough starter is a combination, of course, of flour and water, but inside of that is a whole colony of yeast and bacteria. And if you've been keeping your sourdough starter in the fridge, like I have, that yeast and bacteria, it's not dead from the cold temperatures. It's not dead from the lack of feedings. It's dormant. So what we need to do is wake this starter up with some really healthy feedings. People say all the time, I killed my starter. And remember, you probably didn't kill your starter because it's full of yeast and bacteria. And humans have been trying to figure out how to kill yeast and bacteria since the beginning of time. And so if you figured out how to kill it all, good on you. For the first feeding to revive this starter, what I'm first going to do is just take a small amount out of this jar and put it in a clean jar. So I'm going to just put in, let's see what we got here, 50 grams. So the number is kind of arbitrary. It depends on how much starter you have. It depends on how much you want to maintain. What I recommend is just putting in an amount of starter that works for you for a 1:1:1 ratio. So that means 1 part starter, 1 part flour, 1 part water. So in my case, I'm using 50 grams, but you could use 25 grams, you could do 100 grams. It really depends on what you want to do. Now, I don't really have much left in this jar. Technically, I should probably just put it in there, but for the sake of an example, what's in this original jar, I'm now going to pitch. The next step then is to feed your sourdough starter equal parts flour and water. So I have 50 grams of starter in the jar. I'm gonna give it 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water, but I'm going to give it all whole wheat flour. The reason why I'm giving it whole wheat flour is because whole wheat flour has more micronutrients in it that can help revive your sourdough starter. If you don't have whole wheat flour, that's totally fine. You can use all purpose. It might just take a few extra feedings. If you're a fresh milled flour person, you can totally use fresh milled flour. But if possible, I recommend giving it as much whole grain flour as you can. So that way it has all those nutrients in it to really boost the metabolic process of the starter and get things going again. All right, so 50 grams of whole wheat flour are going right on in here. And it doesn't have to be 100% precise. When I looked at this scale, I actually had 51 grams of flour in there. It doesn't really matter. A few grams difference isn't that big of a deal. So now we have 50 grams of starter, 50 grams of whole wheat flour, and now I'm going to add 50 grams of water. There is a lot of discussion online often about what the best water is for your starter. Bottled water, purified water, tap water, cold water, warm water. I don't know, right? I think the thing about sourdough that makes it confusing is that all of these things are correct. Some things work for some people and some things don't, right? So I'm not really sure what will work best for you, but for me, I use cold water right out of my fridge dispenser, and that's worked fine for me all of the time. One thing for sure though is you don't want to use hot water. Anything over 140 degrees will start killing the yeast and bacteria in your starter, and then you actually do have a dead starter. So don't use hot water, but you can use cold water or warm water, and I would just recommend using whatever access to water you have or what's worked for you and your starter in the past. 50 grams of water going in. And now we just stir. So one of the things I always say about sourdough starter is when in doubt, feed it and feed it whole wheat. So whole wheat flour, as I mentioned before, has more micronutrients in it. So it'll always rev up your starter a little bit faster. It's really good for your starter. You don't always have to feed it whole wheat, but when in doubt, feed your starter and give it at least a little bit of whole wheat. For my regular starter feedings, I often do 50% all-purpose flour and 50% whole wheat or fresh milled flour, whatever I have on hand. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what type of flour you feed your starter, it'll be all right, but whole wheat just gives it a jump start. Okay, we are looking good here, and you can see this is the consistency of sort of like a thick pancake batter, and that is looking pretty good. The next step then is to set this aside and just let that yeast and bacteria do its thing. There's a couple of ways you can handle this. For reviving a starter, I would not recommend putting it back in the fridge right away. I have a YouTube video where I show how to feed your sourdough starter and put it back in the fridge right away. It probably would be fine, but I think it's best to give that yeast and bacteria a chance to really revive itself outside of the refrigerator because those cold temperatures do slow it down. So you could leave this at room temperature, or you can put it in a warmer environment, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my sourdough starter in my proofing box just to speed up the process a little bit. With anything related to sourdough, the warmer the temperature, the faster the fermentation. So I am in a little bit of a hurry today. I need to get things filmed and ready to go. So I want to speed up this process, but you do not need to recreate these exact conditions for this to work. Really, the only thing that changes here is time. If you put it in a warmer environment, it will get bubbly faster. If you put it in a cooler environment, it will be slower. So I'm going to put this in my proofing box and we'll check on it in a few hours and see what happens. It is 5.5 hours later, and I've had this starter in my proofing box now at about 85 degrees. And we, my friends, have signs of life. So it might be a little bit hard to see here on camera, but you can see this is starting to get really bubbly and it's looking great. If you don't have a proofing box or a warm spot to put your starter, it will still work just as well. It's just going to take a little bit longer. I would estimate it probably take closer to 12 hours, maybe even all the way up to 24, depending on the conditions. But either way, you can still get these results. At this point, your starter is probably usable, but it probably still needs to build a little bit more strength. So you could definitely try using it at this point. You'll probably have success, but for the best results, I'm going to just give this a few more feedings over the course of this evening and tomorrow. So now what I'm going to do with this is let it sit at room temperature until closer to bedtime. Then I'll discard about half and feed it another all whole wheat feeding, that 1-to-1 ratio again. So I will check back in with this later tonight. Good morning, it's the next day, and this is looking great. So you can see here, it is nice and bubbly and active, and that's just after 2 feedings. So just for reference, I fed this last night at about 8:30 p.m. And then when I left for the gym this morning around 5:15 a.m., it was doubled bubbly and active. And it looks like it might actually be starting to deflate now. So that's pretty normal. Anywhere between like 4 and 12 hours is pretty standard for a sourdough starter to reach its peak. It kind of just depends on the temperature, the type of flour you're using, the strength of your starter. So this is looking good though. So what I'm going to do moving forward is now I'm just going to feed this every 12 hours for the next day or so. I think this would be totally fine to bake with at this point, but it really just depends on your starter. Some of you, if you're reviving a starter that's been in the fridge, say for like 6 months, it might take a few more feedings. So what I recommend is feeding your starter 100% whole wheat every 12 hours until it starts to get bubbly and doubles and smells good every time you feed it. Now, I do want to go over a couple common issues with you just in case you're having a hard time reviving your starter. So if you're feeding your starter and it is just not getting bubbly, I would recommend a couple of things. One, try a warmer spot. Two, switch up the type of flour you are using. So I know there's sort of this like magical thinking about sourdough starter that it's just cultivating all this wild yeast from the air and the atmosphere, but actually a lot of the yeast comes from the flour itself. So sometimes by introducing a new type of flour, you can bring in more yeast and bacteria that can help your sourdough starter activate. So if you've been feeding your starter, let's say 2 or 3 times and nothing's happening, I recommend giving it a feeding with a different type of flour, at least half. So you could do say half, whole wheat flour like this and half rye or something like that, just to start bringing in some new yeast and bacteria into the starter. Earlier in the video, I said that when you put the starter in the fridge, those cold temperatures make the yeast and bacteria go dormant, which is true, but that doesn't mean that none of it dies. So it could be that you just don't really have enough of a culture in there to really get it going, but introducing some different types of flour can definitely help with that. I have a blog and a YouTube video that I will link in the description box about the different types of flour you can feed your starter and how to introduce new flours for your starter. If your sourdough starter is feeling really acidic, something like nail polish remover, I recommend discarding more than half, and then whatever you're saving to feed it double. So let's say you're feeding 50 grams of sourdough starter. I would give it 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water. That 1-to-2 ratio over time can help reduce the acidity of your starter. The other thing you can do to reduce that really sour and acidic smell is to cut the flour with a little bit of all-purpose. So I would give it a whole wheat feeding once or twice, and once it starts getting bubbly, you can then start giving it half all-purpose, half whole wheat, and then start whittling your way back down to all-purpose flour. The reason that works is because whole wheat flour creates a more acidic starter. So if you're trying to reduce the acidity, you want to cut back on the whole wheat, cut back on the whole grains, and that can help. An acidic starter isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can make your baked goods taste more sour. So if that's not your thing, you definitely want to work on reducing the acidity in your starter. I also have a full blog and YouTube video about how to make your sourdough less acidic and less sour, so I will leave links for those in the description box. If your sourdough starter is really thin, that just means you need to reduce the amount of water. So when we're talking that 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, that is always in grams. So it would be 50 grams of starter, 50 grams of flour, and 50 grams of water. But if you're measuring in cups, it isn't a 1-to-1 ratio because water weighs more than flour. So if you're feeding your sourdough starter, say a cup of flour and a cup of water, it's going to be way too watery because that water weighs a lot more than flour. Because again, the 1-to-1-to-1 ratio is always talking about grams. So if your starter is watery and you're measuring in cups, first I recommend, if possible, switching to grams. But if that isn't a possibility, if you don't have a scale or something like that, you'll have to do the math yourself. But for some general conversions, a half a cup of starter is about 100 grams. 1 cup of flour is about 113 grams, and a half a cup of water is about 113 grams. So in other words, the 1-to-1-to-1 ratio in cups is actually about a half a cup of starter, 1 cup of flour, and a half a cup of water. But you might need to half or quarter that depending on what you're doing with your starter. But the real secret here to reviving your starter is to just keep feeding it. Make sure that you stay on a routine schedule of every 12 hours, and once it's starting to double with every single feeding, it is ready to use for baking again. If you want to catch up with all the Moon and Magnolia happenings and get all of my sourdough tutorials on my blog and from YouTube directly to your inbox, don't forget to sign up for the email list. I will leave a link for that in the description box. Here's to a happy and healthy starter, and I will see you again next time.